Hi, BJ Batterman here. Today I'm here with my friend Vivian, who is ages
69.
I know, hard to believe. Anyway, so Vivian's not a huge makeup wearer, nor does she need it. But as you start to age, you'll realize that you may need more makeup to get that natural look that you had years ago. So because Vivian has deep set eyes, we're going to focus in on that today and just show you how you can really do a natural looking makeup. So what I'm doing now is I'm using Laura Mercier primer before I do Vivian's foundation. And then this way we'll even out her skin tone, and then I can show you exactly what I'm doing with her eye. I've kind of finished the one eye, but underneath isn't done. Right now it's foundation and concealer. She already had on her skincare, and her skin is absolutely beautiful. So far with Vivian, what we've done is we did Vivian's eye, and the difference, if you could see the difference, which I'm sure that you can, what I chose to do was to use a eyeliner inside her waterline, which makes the whites of her eyes whiter and really brings out her eyes. Now, nobody's saying that she has small eyes, because she doesn't, but it just makes it that little bit more dramatic without doing a lot of shadow or shading underneath, which brings attention to underneath your eyes, which a lot of times you don't want to do. So, and I filled in Vivian's brow a bit, so what that does is it's lifting. And I went a little bit darker than what she already has going, because it frames her eyes. Okay, so I used a little bit of blush, I used a little bit of contour on this side, and now I'm going to do lips. I've used this pencil from Kevyn Aucoin, and it's called the Flesh Tone Pencil, and the shade is medium. So because Vivian doesn't have a large frame mouth, and I don't want to make her feel like a showgirl, and it's not necessary to always draw outside your lips with a darker pencil, but what I did was I used this pencil and I basically feathered it so that it wasn't a definite line, but it still gives shape. That way, hoping when she looks in the mirror, it won't feel like somebody else's lips are on her face. So I used this, and I used it outside on the bottom a little bit. I'm a believer in short feathery strokes, whether it be for eyeshadow, pencil, eyebrows, as opposed to long, hard pulls. All right, so I'm using NARS Matte Lipstick in a light color. So it's just keeping Vivian's lips very natural. So whether you use a shade like I did from Kevyn Aucoin, the medium, you could use something a little bit plummier or even something a little bit browner. And if you use the lipstick all over the lip liner, you can get a lot of use out of your different colored lipsticks, because it will look a different shade depending on the lip liner color. As you can see on this side, I've already used concealer, as I've used over here. Concealer should be one shade lighter than your skin tone. So because Vivian has deep set eyes, it means that she will have an automatic shading in here. So it does, light on dark makes gray. So you need something that's blended out well enough, but really not so white that you're going to look like an owl. So what I did was I used the concealer, and then I pat right inside here, because she's a bit shaded in here. Then I used a bit of cream blush. This is Nepali Coast from NARS. It is the stick foundation, the stick blush. And I'm going on her cheekbone. We don't want it to be so much color that she looks like a clown. We can't have that. So we're doing very little, and I'm blending it once again with short feathery strokes. Turn towards me, please. Smile. The apple of the cheek right here, back to the hairline, leaving this area in here light. Next, I'm using a bit of contour. If you always remember with contour, anything you want to bring out, you lighten, push back, you darken. So by pushing this part of Vivian's face in and leaving this light, it brings this part around, and we're pushing this back a bit, and then going right underneath her cheekbone. The worst thing you could do is have big stripes of contour and highlight. So we're trying to do it very natural, and I've already powdered, so I'm using the powder contour on top of it, but I'm not using the powder anywhere near eyes, whether it be translucent powder or contour. I leave that area as moist as possible. So what I did, look down for me please, is I started with a neutral color shadow base, which is a cream. I'm using it all over the lid, And what it does is takes out any discoloration, and any shadows we put on will stay on longer. And this happens to be a very a basic beige color, which is good because that we're going for that as the end look anyway. A bit of a neutral, open your eyes for me. With deep set eyes, it's a bit different. Look down. Where normally you would go light on the lid, darken the socket, and light as a highlighter. When you have deep set eyes, if you darken in the socket, it will make your eyes look that much more deep set, which you don't want to do. So what I'm doing is I'm using a little bit of the shading right beneath the socket. So what it does is it pushes back part of the lid and in turn makes the eyes stand out. Open your eyes for me. Look straight at the camera, please. So I really did it right in here, not in the socket of the eye. The two things that I did different from what Vivian is used to is I used a cake eyeliner on the outside of her lid, which I will show you. And then along with that, I used a gel liner all the way inside on her waterline, which really just made her eyes stand out, I think. And now I'm just filling in Vivian's brow. And a lot of times when you fill in brows, if you do it from the top, then it will tend to be a little bit more lifting. And again, short feathery strokes, I'm using a powder. I am going to curl lashes. And then, because I only use disposable mascara wands when I'm making somebody else up, I usually try to do a bit on the top and then a little bit on the bottom. A lot of times with deep set eyes, I do not do bottom mascara because what happens is the hair on the bottom is so close to underneath your eye that a lot of times it will get black. So unless you want to use waterproof mascara, but I believe with the liners you don't even really need the mascara on the bottom. Of course, a personal thing depending on the eyes. The other thing that I did do was I used a bit of a rust shadow, look up, just right underneath here. And I'm doing this to show you if you decide not to do the inside liner, that you need very little definition down there, but something to fill in your lash line. So this is with the pencil inside, with the gel liner inside the waterline, and this is without. So I'm finishing with Vivian. I'm just adding a little bit of gloss just to soften the look a bit. And then we will give her the mirror and let her take a look. All right, she already did look. Let me know your thoughts, please.
Very natural. Looks good.
Okay,
Yeah.
but when I look at you, I see eyes and I see features, and that's what the bottom line is. Well, I do see a little purple in your hair.
It's pink.
Oh, pink, excuse me. Thank you. You're wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let me know what you think, or if you have any questions or you want to see something else, please feel free to contact me.